everybody. Welcome back to Chuck's Chats, episode 8 in this series. We're joined this evening by two gentlemen representing Junior Rugby in Bective. Not quite the prodigal son and not forgotten either, but it's important in this whole series that we try and capture everybody. We've already spoken with Richie Maybury, who's looking after the minis, and we've asked Dave and Shane to come in and join us this evening to talk about what's going on in Junior Rugby, which is the thirds in Bective. So Dave O'Mahony, very welcome. Shane Comer, we'll start with you, Dave.
Yeah.
What's your story?
That's
Good Cork man by the sound of you.
Yeah, thank you. Good.
How did you join Bective, Dave? How did you end up in here?
Yeah, I suppose what it comes of relatively new. I joined around 2015, so I hadn't played rugby in a while, but was kind of itching to get back a bit. And my son was born, Harrison, in 2015, and decided I kind of need an excuse to get myself out of the house and take out some frustration that built up.
You know, you've just said that on camera.
Yeah, and he will watch this. He will watch this. No, and he's in the minis now and loving it. So he's a good Bective man too. But
you're a Bandon man, Dave.
Bandon.
How does a Bandon man end up here? And this place full of cultures. I'm a culture myself.
Yeah, and I love that about the place. I went to college in Dublin and studied and worked in Dublin, so I was up here a good few years before I decided to get back into the rugby. So yeah, played a small bit of rugby in Bandon, but it wasn't my main sport growing up. I was more
GAA
football,
territory.
GAA, yeah, exactly. Though obviously Bandon's a good club, plenty of good players coming out of it now.
Jack Crowley and that. Lads as well, yeah.
But it just wasn't my main sport. And I got into it more kind of in my 20s and kind of in and out of it. And it was kind of hard. I was based in Dublin, travelling down, so I couldn't really take it that seriously, but then kind of said, I want to get proper into it and looked for clubs in and around here around that time. I knew a couple of guys who had been here in the juniors and said, Adam Wynne, come on down and join us, it's great fun here. Yeah. And so I said, grand, I'll come down on Monday night. He said, I'll see you there. I've never once seen him in the town. I think he emigrated shortly afterwards. Yeah, which is presumably not connected to my coming down. But I came down on Monday knowing no one, and just guys were very welcoming, and I didn't know what to expect. Kind of, as you say, a culture coming into the heart of D4 to play rugby. You kind of
this is not real D4 though, is it here?
Not in this little area. But
it's part of our USP, the fact that we're not D4.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected, because I'd say when I came down, and maybe still, there was probably more people from outside of Ireland than there were from D4. Mm-hmm. Like the team is it's a mixing pot of people from everywhere.
Right.
And for that reason, there's no cliques of guys. There's no guys who knew each other from school and kind of stick to themselves. And there's lots of people who came down just like me, not knowing anyone. So when a new guy comes down, they make the effort and try to get him involved and make him feel welcome. And yeah, from day one, just melted into the place and enjoyed it and kind of stick with it as long as I can now at this stage, because I know I'll miss it whenever I eventually have to stop in the body.
But you're enjoying it.
I'm loving it.
You're 7 or 8 years now.
Yeah.
Are you local to here now?
I'm out in Blackrock now. When I joined, I was nearby, but I've moved a bit further out now. So close enough. Yeah.
All right. And Shane Comer, I know you. I know you're old fella.
Do I owe you money, do I?
I said no, you don't, but we can talk about that afterwards. You might. So I assume it's your dad, Johnny, who was present here a few years ago. I presume it's your dad who got you involved here.
It was, yeah. So Dad joined here in the early 80s, having come up from Galway looking for a bit of work, and as he'd say himself, he was a bit misdirected in his youth, and I think he was with Belvo for half a season.
Came into the right club, misdirected.
And then he eventually found his way into Bective and played thirds here for a while. And then so when I was a young fella, so I actually mainly played Gaelic football when I was a young fella, because all my mates were up in Kilmacud Croaks and Snorden. But Dad would always bring me down here on match days or around internationals, and you'd get your bottle of Coke and your pack.
So were you creating havoc out in the hall with all the other kids running around?
Yeah, I was, unfortunately. I remember smashing a couple of the old lampshades.
Like now, a rite of passage.
Exactly. Poor old Sweat Doyle fuming at me. But so then always came down, and then around sort of, I remember years ago we tried to get under 16s going here. Dave Lane was leading that, and
Laner,
Laner was doing well, and we had a good squad there. But then the schools put the foot down, and the lads couldn't. The lads from rugby schools couldn't get involved. So I went to a Gael school, so not a hint of a foreign sport there.
Where were you? Closhdown
up the road, yeah. And so unfortunately that fell apart, and we tried an under 18s going at one stage, and that kind of fell apart. And then my old man started coming back down to Bective, involved with Johnny Bean when Beano was president and that. And
another great ranger, Beano.
Big time. And started helping out around the club. So I was the Rats apprentice for a little while, doing a few bits with the kit man there with the seniors, and working behind the bar with Mark and that type of thing. My old man got me work behind the bar and said, "Oh yeah, he's worked behind the bar 2 or 3 years." I pulled a pint in my life.
Your life, yeah.
So my first ever night behind the bar was an Ireland 20s versus England 20s on a Friday night here.
Okay, that was a baptism of fire.
That's an understatement. But sure, look, Sharon and Mark took me under the wing, and then after a year just doing bits around the club, I decided, sure, I'll give rugby another go, and came down here for a junior training session, and the rest, as they say, is history. So this is my first season not playing now in the last 8 years or so. A couple of injuries sort of taking the toll.
You're getting married too, I hear.
Yes, I got engaged there before Christmas, and so it's a
marriage. Shane, is an institution.
So is Bective.
You sure you want to spend the rest of your life in an institution?
You see, the thing is, I know how to get out of it. Please cut that bit out.
I don't think she will see this.
And so this year I'm coaching the lads. So it's been an interesting transition going.
So you're coaching the thirds?
Yeah.
Are you playing, Dave, or you're playing
away, and the coaches are brilliant.
Okay, well, you have to say that. So what position do you play, Dave?
Number 8, second row, kind of.
Okay, carrying a bit of timber. You're not a winger anyway.
No, thanks a lot.
He's the dancing one now, in fairness to him.
Well, for short periods of time. Yeah.
Okay, so as I said in the intro, the thirds, you play a lot of your games on Friday nights, which not a lot of people would come down to be fair. And this is a good platform, I suppose, for highlighting, exposing what's going on in the junior division within the club. So how is your season going? How are the thirds doing? We'll ask the player first, not the coach, because you'll give the politically correct answer. You'll give the honest answer.
Just remember what I told you.
We're the nuts. We have a very good team and a very good setup, and there's a very strong panel there. A few kind of frustrating results where things went against us, really cost us, and kind of our gripes with things and complain, but there's no point of complaining, but really felt like we should have been closer to the playoffs. We can still get there, but it's kind of out of our hands. But a few small things going for us and we'd be right up in there. A few simple things going for us and we're good enough to be top of the league. We've beaten everyone, we're capable of beating anyone. But I think getting better and better noticeably every year.
And is it a motley crew, Dave, on the thirds, of guys on the way down and kids on the way up, or what's the makeup of your squad?
Yeah, there's kids like me on the way up, and then there's a few other guys.
A smart arse Cork man. Who knew?
There's kind of a good mix of guys. There's guys came down. Some guy came down this week and never played before and just wanted to try it out. Mm-hmm. There's young guys with all the pace, and there's guys like me who've been around the park a few times. It's kind of a good mix of guys from different ages and backgrounds, and everyone bringing their own thing to the table. Okay,
and you're training here Mondays, Wednesdays, right, and matches on Friday nights,
and occasionally the odd Saturday afternoon, but mostly Friday nights.
Okay. And how did you get into coaching that team, Shane?
Well, as I said, I kind of stepped away with injuries the last couple of seasons, and wanted to stay involved. Mm-hmm. And head coach is Carl Bathe, mad Aussie, who's been around the junior section for God knows how long, and said to him, look, I want to stay involved, I want to do my dig out even though I'm not playing, and he kind of snatched both my hands off when I made the offer. And he likes to think he's a back, that's debatable, but he looks after the backs, I help out with the forwards, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been an interesting change going from playing alongside the likes of himself to telling them what to do now, but they seem to listen, so
it's come natural to you, telling people what to do.
The dictatorial part of it,
yeah, it's in his makeup. You can know he's not shy, is he?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely not shy. So you were talking, Dave, about close but no cigar this season, but have we won anything in the last couple of years in the thirds? We won
in the thirds, no. So COVID has been really tough in the junior section. We had a thirds and a fourths going before COVID, and we were struggling last year. Like the last sort of 2 seasons before this one, if we had 15, 16 lads at a session,
you'd be doing well.
We were cock a hoop in that kind of a way. But now, that's the minimum that we're seeing at training sessions. We're getting 20, 25 lads.
So why do you think it's increasing now?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of sort of lads putting the word out, things, it's a fun atmosphere. We're doing good things. We play fun rugby. There's something I always find, there's something gas when you're watching your front row. Certainly for me, the last few years, like I'm in my mid-30s. But you've a prop in his mid-30s, a hooker who's 21, and then a tight head prop who's 45. That's kind of why the classic junior rugby. But as Dave said, a few lads have come down this season. Some have come back to rugby, come back to Bective from 20s and 18s, and it's Bective, as you said yourself. It's always been the place where we walk in the gate, and I think the junior section is the prime example of where that comes to fruition. And as Dave said, a few frustrations at the start of the season, a couple of bad results, but like we turned it around that match against St Mary's, who were the unbeaten league leaders, and we beat them here on a Friday night just before Christmas, and they hadn't a clue what was going on. And it was the turning point for our season. And as I said, a few things that have been frustrating, but we definitely have a cup in us. We definitely have a cup in us.
Okay, so the junior section, I mean, even back in the good old days when I was young and I had hair and looked reasonable, we had a very big junior section. We were fielding 7-18s in the club. But the juniors is all about the crack, let's be honest. It's competitive because there's that element of competitive animal in all men. It's just the way we're programmed. Women don't understand it, right? But it's just the way we are. But it's the social element as well. And I'm not involved and I haven't been to watch you, but I'm guessing that you're having the crack as well, because that's what keeps the older guys involved. We're not going to play for Ireland, we're not going to play for Leinster, we're not going to make the first team, but we still want to play. And are you having the crack? I'm going to ask you first.
Yeah, we definitely are. Yeah, there's a good fun atmosphere and vibe around it. And it's kind of a good level, as you said, where guys are coming down. It's taken seriously enough to be enjoyable and to be competitive. And if you don't have that edge, there's no point in being here. But at the same time, after the game, when the business is done, we come in, we have the pints, we have good fun together. The guys get to know each other better that way. And even when we're training, there's always a good bit of banter and crack amongst guys. There's very much a focus on positivity and keep it fun. And as much as you want to go out there and go hell for leather, we're here to enjoy ourselves ultimately. And if guys aren't enjoying themselves, they're not going to be turning.
They're not going to say correct. Yeah. It's all about having the crack. Do we go on any tours? Our junior section? There
hasn't been a club tour in a long time, but it's something definitely that we're looking at. We were actually there was due to be a junior tour in the May of 2020 to Bath.
Okay.
A good junior man out there, Sam Lewis, is a Welshman who was over here for a couple of years, but unfortunately that got waylaid. By a little pandemic. But it's definitely something we're looking at. Certainly at the moment, with how things have gone in terms of sort of numbers and recruitment this season, what we're hoping to do is certainly now build for the seasons coming. Like the big things in terms of like the sustainability of the junior section is, for us in the coaching setup, is if we can maintain the bulk of the squad,
the core of what you have at the moment,
and have a good thirds next year and really take on the Metro League. And then building that for the following season, looking at a fourths in, if there's a 20s
coming that's in. That's where I wanted to get to. So we're looking at under 20s. We've got a 17s and a 15s and a 13s now. But is there the opportunity to have a fourths?
There definitely is. If we had like the 20s team in there, when that's hopefully getting set up at the moment, there's definitely that filtering in. And I think it's invaluable as well, because I often think a lot of those young fellas who are 19, 20, they will learn an awful lot more than they would in a training session by playing like a Metro Division 10 down the sticks against some fella who's in his late 30s, early 40s and doing a number on him.
Yeah.
And like you'll learn all the tricks of the trade, all the dark cards.
Yeah, except sometimes the old guys do the numbers on the young fellas because they're the wise old sages.
Exactly. And you'll learn an awful lot from that. So that's our goal for the next 2 years, is maintain what we have and then build on it going forward, and hopefully we'll have a fourth team for the 25-26 season. That's what our goal is anyway.
Okay. So I'm going to come back to you because you're here slightly longer, Shane. Club has evolved, club has changed. You were running around here breaking lights as a child.
That's why the place has been done up.
Possibly, and they've done a great job on it.
Smashing.
What evolution have you seen from the time when Johnny was bringing you in as a kid to your, I won't say mature and responsible, but you're an adult now. What evolution have you seen for the better in the club over the number of years you've been here?
I think what's been great in terms of a change of focus sort of in the last 10-12 years is there was kind of an element of sitting on our past glories, and being sort of, we're the club of this and the club of Cliff Morgan and that type of thing, which is wonderful and it should absolutely be acknowledged. but we have to also plan for the future.
Correct.
And I think one of the massively huge developments, one of the best developments that I saw in the last little while was that seeding event that happened, was it a year or two ago now?
Yeah.
We get all the members in and and basically look to direct where Bective is going in the next 5, 10, 15 years. And I think it's that sort of collective realisation that we need to grow.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're fighting to get back into the AIL, we're fighting to build up the junior section again, and there's that fighting to get an under-20s going as well.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fantastic facility here now to attract some of the best players,
Right.
and any players really, to Bective, between the gym and the wonderful clubhouse and all that. And I think that's the biggest evolution I've seen. It's not a physical one, it's a mindset change.
Mm-hmm.
Is we need to look to the future now, not just in our past glories.
Yeah, there is a positivity around this place.
Absolutely.
That I've seen. I'm back 3 years that I've seen where everybody's pulling together. There wasn't really a lot of cliques here, but there was a couple. They seem to have dissipated. They're gone now.
And there was a few lads who were always relied on to do certain
Correct.
jobs.
Everything fell on 2 or 3 fellas.
Exactly.
Now that weight, that load has been shared.
Exactly.
Like which is very positive.
And it's not a case of sort of lads being dumped with it. It's people coming in and wanting to
Exactly.
contribute.
So we all have a skill set. And when your playing days are over, you're going to be hooked in for something
I know.
else.
Instead, I'm already coaching the minis there, so I'm already
You see?
happy to be involved.
Yeah. So once we reel you in, Dave, there's no escaping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you walk because you're not having the crack. And from what I can see, everybody who's in here is having the crack, and that's part of our USP. It's part of why we keep coming back here.
That's part of the junior section. It's the stories that you get. And speaking of which, I want to run one past you. So when I told my old man that I was doing this evening, he decided to put me on the phone to Johnny Bean.
Bino, right?
Yeah, Bino. And many years ago, I think it was 1991.
Should I be nervous here, Shane?
A little bit, because you're about to find out something. It was the 3Ds, third Ds Cup. It was the first round of the Cup out here on the front pitch.
Fox Cup.
Was the Fox Cup, was it?
Fox Cup, yeah.
I think
Seventh, third Ds.
Yeah, I think was it Nardo or Butch?
Nardo was the
God rest him,
captain.
yeah,
The team was called Nardo's Nomads.
Yeah, and Bino was manager.
Yeah, I'm going to like this story, but go on.
But anyway, so 5 minutes against Old Wesley, first round of the Cup. 5 minutes in, penalty Bective. In front of the sticks. You know, easiest thing, 5 minutes in, you kick your 3 points. Bino's there on the touchline. Oh, I haven't nominated a kicker. So that's like, who would have to take the kick? This man here goes, I'll take it.
I was a kicker. I know where this story is.
So he lines up the kick.
This is not going to reflect well on me.
The pitch was as dry as a bone. He goes up, he stubs his foot in the turf and breaks his ankle.
Oh my God.
The ball doesn't leave the tee.
It's a slight exaggeration. I did take the kick. And I left it short. And Jerry Sexton was playing Johnny's dad. Jerry Sexton was playing scrum half, and Jerry read me the riot act. It was just outside the 25, like it was a no-brainer, straight 3 points. I left it short, right? But I did break my ankle in that match. And Johnny O'Hagan had a new state-of-the-art video camera. This is in 91. And Hago videoed the match, and we watched it back in here afterwards. And I couldn't understand what had happened to me, because I was going, I neither made nor took a hit in the whole game. I was playing 10, collar up, trying to look cool.
So classic 10, no tackles.
But I ended up at Vincent's with it was a broken foot afterwards. There's a sequel to that. It turned out I had arthritis, right, and I was breaking bones for fun.
Well, before you get all the excuses in, there's a follow-up to that, because this actually happens to be the most expensive and costly penalty in Bective history, because the lads went on and won the cup. I think they bet Mary's in the final.
Correct.
Later on that year, it was 91, the famous World Cup quarter final, Ireland Australia, Gordon Hamilton's try in the corner, only for Michael Lina to break the Irish hearts.
Correct.
But anyway, everyone in here before the match, and you were going down to it. You were in cast and crutches the whole lot, and everyone was well sauced going out the gate to the match. And as Bino's walking out the gate, he sees you hobbling and wobbling out the gate. He says, I'll give him a lift, the poor fella. He says, come on, hop in the car, we'll drive down. So Bino's driving down with you in crutches, and they get past the stewards. And you get past the stewards, say, look, I've a fella, he can't walk, will you just let me pass? Yeah, no problem, go on. So you go into the match, you don't see Bino afterwards. What you don't realise is it was a very costly penalty, because Bino comes out after the match to see that his car has been towed to the impound lot out in fucking Banker's Bush. and he has to pay 100 punts in 1991 to get the car released. So you've never been told that. So we've been asked on behalf of Beano, can he have the money back, please?
No, no, Johnny Bean, no, you can't. You can put that down as my appearance fee, right, for playing for the Fox Cup team and helping to win the cup. One of my proudest moments in Bective is that there's a picture up there just at the hatch that has now been boarded over under the renovations. And Nardo was there, all my buddies, Nardo, Garquin, Budge, the whole clan, Manuel Alonso was on that team, the whole clan was massive. Jerry Sexton, we had a few ringers as well. Brian Cusack played on that team. Right, Cusack went on to play for Leinster. I don't know how he made it.
Played for Bath as well, I think.
He played for Bath, correct. Right, well, this is my show and this is my gig, and you shouldn't be slagging me on my, and we may have to cut all of this out. Thanks for that, sharing that story. Characters within Bective. Bective is full of characters, right? I'm putting you on the spot. So we did a couple of weeks ago, we did an interview with Richie Mabry, and I was talking about, so you have a badger, a trout, a dog, a seagull, a squirrel. Bective full of characters with nicknames. Are there any characters, Dave, and I know you're only with us a short time and you're not prepared for this, are there any characters that stick out for you in Bective, because the place is full of them?
Yeah, characters. There was Jerry, I don't know his last name.
Jerry Kelleher.
From Kerry.
Jerry from Kerry, Jerry Kelleher, geez, yeah.
Small prop forward who did he challenge Gav Walsh to a racer one night?
That's right. Pitch. That was the captain's dinner, and they've been bitching about who'd been the quickest prop all season.
So they're full of sauce and out they go.
Oh, in slacks, shirt, the whole lot.
Number one's on.
The whole lot. Sprint, try line to try line, and Gav
caught on video
pissed it. Gav pissed it.
Yeah, we have a history doing stuff like that. And what about you, Shane? You're around a little longer.
Well, in terms of characters, you mentioned them already, the Badger. I think everybody knows the Badger. Like one of my all-time favourite Bective stories is the 03 Six Nations. We were playing England in the last match for the Grand Slam. Remember Martin Johnson made Mary McAleese walk on the grass. Exactly. Yeah. So that was around that was the weekend after Paddy's Day, that match, whatever way it fell. And that was around the same time as both my birthday and my confirmation. So it was a treat. Dad took me to that match. Unbelievable. We got hockey. I think it was 42-6. I remember David Humphreys kicking, I think, the opening penalty, and that was the end of the match, essentially. Yeah. But anyway, we come back here, and everyone's in great spirits. The place is heaving, the hall is full, all the shutters are open. Anyway, Badger comes along, and Badger's always great to the young fellas in Bective, and he finds out, I mentioned that it's my birthday, my confirmation, like around this weekend or whatever it was, and he starts, Jesus. So he goes into the bar there and hops up on one of these tables in just one step. He just steps and jumps up straight up. Incredible. And he roars out to everybody that it's my birthday, my confirmation, they're all to give me a few quid. So for the next 45 minutes, he takes me around by the scruff, shaking down everyone in the club.
Give him a fiver.
And when I'm there 12 years of age and walking out of the place with about 500 quid, like. Okay. Well, sorry, 450 after Badger took his
cut. Your dad minded, Johnny minded that money for you, did he, Shane?
I need to have a chat with him about that, actually.
Yeah, never saw it again.
No, it was used to pay to let Beano's card out of the impound lot.
So, I did talk about our hopes for the future for the junior section, that possibly we could get forced together. What are your hopes for the future for Bective? What do you want to see here from your point? And we're talking about everybody has their own prism, their own point of view. Yeah. What would you hope for Bective in the future, Dave?
I'm going to concentrate in the junior section.
Absolutely. If you want, yeah, absolutely.
Immediately, I think there's silverware in this team right in front of us. The potential is there for it. Going forward, I think, you're right, COVID kind of hurt us a lot. And the last couple of years, it felt at times a separate club almost down here, because no one kind of knew we were here or what we were about. And it's great to have things like this to present ourselves.
Correct, and to highlight and say, hey, we're here too, guys.
And we're definitely noticing a difference this season, I have to say. You know, you could meet someone in the club and they're aware and they might have heard you had a good result the previous weekend, or people are kind of inquiring about how you're getting on, and there's more comms about us out there.
Yeah, our socials are very good. Louis Manahan runs the socials in Bective, and he's brilliant at what he does. Yeah. He's also our producer, director, and Sven Gali for everything that about this. So yes,
but you can definitely feel closer to the club and more part of it when that starts happening, and there's more involvement and interest and awareness of the thirds team. So I'd love to see that growing and becoming more to the fore, and feeling that better connection between.
That's a great point, because I did wonder, do you feel a little bit like the
There was a bit, but
you
it's
know,
definitely
the sixth child out of
The run to the litter.
yeah, the runt, exactly, and that you're there, but nobody really knows you there.
Yeah.
So you think that awareness, and that's part of why we're doing this.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
we've done the first team, we've done some of the old grandees, we've interviewed Richie for the minis. You know, it's to be all inclusive. We'll get the Dolly Dimples someday. It's trying to pin them all down in the one room and have them all sober at the same time. It's proving challenging.
Good luck getting some of those stories out
And
of
for
them.
you, Shane, so you've been around a long time. What's your hope for the future? Because I'm slightly older than you, but you guys are now laying the foundations for the next generation. I've had my time really, and it's going to be their club. So what's your hope for the future?
For me, it's looking at the junior section specifically. It's building that back up to what it can be and what it was. You look at a lot of the clubs around the area similar to Bective, and we don't have obviously feeder schools coming to us from that. So we're a bit.
So we have to work harder.
Exactly,
and smarter.
But I definitely think that there's scope for a fourths, maybe a fifths down the line. If we get that 20s in, that'll help. So within the junior section, I want to see a thriving junior section with 2-3 teams all going for silverware and bring it back here to Bective. And then looking towards sort of the seniors and the firsts, I think everybody in the club would love to see us back in the AIL.
Mm-hmm.
Coming up a little bit short this season after 2 really good seasons and missing out in the playoffs, but like there's the bulk of the squad in that first there, the core, the spine of that team. There's definitely another AIL push in.
I would have thought so. Look, we've no divine right to get there. We're going to have to work hard.
Absolutely.
We've just been unlucky this year. We won our league for the previous 2 seasons. I do think it will come. But a little bit of a controversial opinion, it may not be the be-all and end-all, because there's more to this club, in my opinion, than just the first team. There's the junior section.
Oh, yeah.
There's the seconds, won their league 3 years in a row, and
absolutely.
they're flying high again this season. Richie Mabry is running a junior section. That's the envy of all the clubs in Ireland.
And the work that himself and Hats as well, and if you like yourself down there with them as well, like it's a big part of that is we're going to lose those lads in their teens to the rugby schools.
But if we do it properly, they'll come back.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And that's
it's like
a huge
raising kids.
Yeah.
At 18 and 19, they want to go away, and a lot of kids do this. I'm going off to Australia. Let's just get away from the folks and be young and irresponsible and do all their mad stuff. But if you've raised them properly as parents or as coaches or as mentors, they'll come back to you again. If you haven't raised them properly, they won't.
Yeah.
They won't. So what keeps you coming back, Dave?
I genuinely really enjoy it. I enjoy the camaraderie of the guys down here and just coming down. It's a good escape. It's good. You can't talk yourself out of it. I have to be down there at 7:30 or sometimes a few minutes late. But you have
He's
to.
the Malcolm O'Kelly of our squad. So.
Strolls in late.
Yeah, we have a match on Sunday. Coach leaving here at 11 o'clock, so we've told everybody to be here for 11:15. Him 10:15.
Okay. Yeah. Well, tell your manager she has to manage the expectations.
But I really do enjoy it. I enjoy the rugby. And I know I'll really miss it when I do have to stop, you know.
But you don't have to stop, Dave.
Yeah.
Because you have oldies like me and Rory who does the camera work. The place full of oldies.
Yeah.
We give you a sabbatical. You can go away for a while to raise a family. but then we'll hopefully we'll reel you back in again.
There's the vets team there too, so yeah.
Yeah, getting the vets down would be great. Yeah, Joe Osborne doing great stuff
Yeah,
there.
Joe's doing great stuff with the vets. I believe the vets are going on tour. There's a number of places I'm seeing on the WhatsApp groups being touted for the tour. Excuse me, I came down to watch a vets match here 3 weeks ago, and I captured Mick Finnegan scoring his first ever try for Bective on camera.
I was playing that day.
You were playing that night against the Guards.
Yeah.
By the time the match ended, I think it was 10 against 11. You've never seen fellas pull hamstrings and do knees, and
apparently there was one ruck or one phase of play that took out 7 lads.
Yeah, basically just run out of steam. But it was great to see. I'll tell you what surprised me for the vets. The hits and the commitment. So they may be oldies, but my God, were they still committed. Now the body wasn't able to do it, but they were throwing themselves into ropes and tackles. And I think the vets is a great concept. I think it's really good. Better than kind of touch rugby, and I'm not knocking touch, but it's not quite the same.
No, I agree with you.
You know, there was guys out there, right, who were wider than they were taller, right, and they had crevices on their face, so they lived life, but they were still turning up, I'd say in their 50s, right, throwing themselves into it. I think that's fabulous to see. Best player you ever saw in Bective, Shane? We're coming to a close. Final 2 questions.
Ever saw or ever played with?
Well, played with, whichever. So we all have them. Nearly everybody I've interviewed, I love this, has come out with a different person. Who's the best player you've seen in your time here, or played with?
Best player I've ever seen play, in the last certainly number of years. Since actually, so the best player I've seen playing would be Shane O'Mara with the seniors.
Yeah.
I think he's a fabulous winger. He's been with Bective a number of years. Very stuffed.
Galway man as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Barna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Phenomenal pace, superb player.
Yeah.
Best player I've played with down the juniors. I'd throw two in there, and like myself, have to support the front row union. One would be Jerry Kelleher, superb master of the dark arts and the sledging, for on the pitch.
Okay.
His famous one when opposition's taking a kick off, he'd just be screaming, "Not tin, not tin, not tin!" When eventually he'd mess it up, he'd just be delighted with himself. And the other would be Ross Jones. So Ross Jones played seniors, seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths, everything, vets, the whole 9 yards. Coaching us the last couple of years. He's stepped away this year just with family commitments and that, but he's still around. But Ross, great club man, great player, always there to lend a hand, and superb scrummager as well.
I'm delighted to hear different names, because everybody's got their own opinion and see things through their own lens, which is great. What about you, Dave? Who's the best player you've encountered in your time down here?
I'm going to answer the question I wish you asked rather than the question you did ask. So,
You're involved in law, aren't you? Yeah, okay.
But I'm going to pick because there's plenty of good guys on our team now and guys you love playing with, and just love seeing alongside you getting the ball. But I'm going to say my favourite players to play with are two guys in our team now, are Sean Hassett and Ayrton. Is it Griffith?
Griffin, yeah.
They're just so positive no matter what happens. Like, you pass the ball, that's the best pass I've ever seen, well done. They uplift in everything they do, and they're so encouraging.
They bring positivity to the whole thing.
Yeah, they're pure positivity on the pitch, and I just love that. It's a great vibe, it's a great atmosphere. So that's kind of my favourite players to play with, guys like that, two of them in particular.
Ayrton Griffin, Gibraltar International.
Okay. That's another international to add to the board.
Absolutely.
Trinidad and Tobago International.
The O'Farrells,
O'Farrells. Okay, final question, Dave. Back to you. This place is full of characters.
Yeah.
Who's the best character? Who's had the most influence on you within Bective? Doesn't have to be a player. Could be Mark and Bar. Could be anybody. If you had to pick one person and say, God, he's had a profound influence on my life in Bective Rangers.
Present company excluded,
Obviously. And you're not allowed to say me.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm going to say, and actually, genuine present company excluded because there'd be similar reasons. I would say Carl Bath, Nemo, our coach. He's kind of
Bathe,
Bath is maybe just something he needs.
He is from Queensland, in fairness, yeah.
I'm going to hear about that. Okay, that'll come up in court session at the end of the year.
It will big time.
And why so? Why Carl Bath?
His commitment. He's been there. He always turns up, no matter how frustrated he might be with how things are going. He's a constant there. And he's constantly looking out for guys, arms on the shoulder, checking in with them, phone calls, how are you doing? We'll make sure we'll see you back again at the end of the season. We'll see you back for next year. He just really invested.
Charisma,
yeah, good fun. He just really invested in the people and wanting to see them do well. But also, yeah, he has a bit of charisma and fun about him, and everything has to be censored because the Southern Hemisphere guys, every third word is a curse. But he's
they're all convicts in Australia, aren't they? Okay, you're definitely getting a couple of laps of the pitch.
I was about to say Broncos court session, the whole lot.
And for yourself, why we're winding this up? Who? And you have a slightly different, longer perspective to pick from. What character in the Rangers would you say that guy's probably had? Really stands out for me as being a Ranger who had an influence on me.
I want to give an honourable mention.
Oh, you can.
But
yes.
an honourable mention to Willie O'Connor.
Yes, Willie. Yeah.
Girlfriend, great man.
Yeah.
Lovely fella.
Yeah.
Always has a smile on his face.
Always, yeah.
You can pick that laugh out from a mile away. Whenever I come into Bective, I see Willie, go straight over to him, shake the hand. Lovely fella.
Yeah, I have a lot of time for Willie.
Huge.
Gentleman.
Absolute gent.
Yeah.
In the old school way of gent.
Correct.
He's
yes.
brilliant. And I don't know how old that sheepskin coat is, but it's still looking immaculate.
But it was in fashion in the 70s. Yes.
Even older, I'd say. And then, but for me, the Rangers had the biggest influence on me. Has to be my old man, Johnny Comer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a member of Bective if it wasn't for him.
You wouldn't bloody be here if it wasn't for him. Just in here on this earth. Yes, yeah.
Unfortunately, I always hear that you're definitely not the milkman's son when you look at the two of us. But Dad, his principles, his views on life are what Bective's views are. that like it doesn't matter whether you're sweeping the street or you're the CEO of a company. You know, when you interact with somebody, you're all on the same level.
You're all the same.
And when you walk into Bective, you could be a multi-millionaire or you could be on the dole. You walk out into that pitch, you lace up, and you're brothers in arms.
Yeah, you're a Ranger.
But the Ranger bit is in for me easily my own man.
Okay, I think you've captured that very well. The reason why, and it's no surprise your dad was president a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that you're the next generation. Yeah, and
it'll be a while before I'm
well,
called Alec do now anyway.
You're married, right? So hopefully there'll be another generation of comers coming through in a few years as well.
No
Touch
pressure.
wood. No pressure, yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming in to represent the junior section of the club.
Thanks very much,
Chuck.
If nothing else, this will raise awareness. You're in trouble for sharing that story that Johnny Bean shared with you, right?
Well, you're in debt.
We'll get to that afterwards. But listen, lovely talking to you. Dave, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Shane,
Chuck, pleasure.
lovely talking to you. And that's a wrap.